Guys, this is Ian at the Auto Barn, and today I'm showing you why the 25 Tiguan is the best SUV on the 2025 market. Let's get into it. To preface this video, let me just explain that there's multiple things I want to go over with this video. For one, we'll go over the exterior. Two, we'll go over the interior. Three, some of the tech. Four, some of the performance stuff. Five, how it competes against its competitors, or like kind of the mindset between this behind this car. And then six, we'll go over the price compared to other vehicles in the same category. So let's get into it with exterior first. So if you guys didn't see already, this vehicle is the SE R-Line model. The trim levels start with S, then it goes to SE, then it goes to SE R-Line, which is this, and then it goes to SEL R-Line, which is the final and top trim that's fully loaded. But even as you can see, this is not the top trim, and yet it looks absolutely amazing with a lot of the blacked out features. For example, these 19-inch blacked out wheels, and I just love this design. It looks so sporty because this vehicle is more sporty, right? You got this blacked out fender right here, blacked out mirror caps, of course, the black R-Line logo with this glossy window trim that goes around the entire vehicle, body color matching door handles, as well as the body color matching lower cladding. And you can see how it kind of juts out a little bit in a very nice way. Like, they really did their homework when it came to the designing of this vehicle. And you can see in the back too, there's a continuation of this light bar scheme, where something I love about new Volkswagens is that these logos light up at night in red, and it looks just really aggressive, really nice. And so they have also the blacked out Tiguan, blacked out SE right there, as well as this really nice looking rear bumper and diffuser. Moving on to the front, which I didn't really give the chance to talk about a little bit, is that on the exterior, or in these headlights, we have adaptive lighting. The fog lights are also mixed up here, but you can also see that there's a front light bar. This logo lights up as well with also the badging right there, and the glossy black grille, right? And of course, this little lip right here at the bottom, which looks pretty nice, as well as these sensors right here for parking. Comes to the interior, I'm completely confident that this vehicle has the competition beat, because when you just look inside, you can just see how the seats are bucketed with these little rivets and they're perforated as well. You just sit inside and you just see this dashboard looks absolutely incredible. It's a little bit hard to see on camera, but you can see this kind of, it looks almost like a dragon scale almost on the dashboard, with soft leather everywhere on this vehicle. As well as this kind of suede looking material right here as well. And it's all over the seats, if you didn't see already too, right here. And mind you, that's not even the best part. Best part is that all of this luxury that's in the front seats is not just in the front seats, it's also passed on back to the rear. As you can see right here, you can see these two seats are bucketed as well, with the doors having all this nice trim on it, as well as these nice speakers. And all this material is soft. It's not just like hard material. It feels extremely nice. And even when you go to the trunk, even though this vehicle is a little bit smaller than the previous model, you still get so much space, right? So when it comes to the tech and all the convenience features with this vehicle, it is up to par with everything else on the market, and even higher than that. If you can see right here, there is a heads-up display that not only shows you the mile per hour, but also some of the cruise control settings, and you can customize that to show whatever else you want as well. Another cool thing about this is that the volume dial is right here. But not only that, you can click on it and change the different driving mode as if it's a dial, right? And not only that, you can swipe to the left and change the driving atmosphere. Essentially what that does is that it changes the ambient lighting around the vehicle, as well as the sound presets. So you're changing the whole entire vibe of the vehicle or the drive. Not only that, this vehicle has four-wheel independent suspension, meaning that you're going to have an amazingly smooth drive. And although this vehicle is a lot lighter than the previous model, I believe it's 170 pounds lighter, and it also has 17 more horsepower, you can really feel that difference in terms of, you know, how much more sporty it feels. But you don't feel the word I would say is you still feel very solid and stuck to the ground. You don't feel like you're going to roll over or you have less control of the vehicle. You still feel extremely solid, which is really nice. Another amazing feature is this panoramic sunroof. And I don't have to extend my arm all the way so you can get it all on camera. It's really that big, and it's really convenient to use too. Let me show you how. Operation of the sunroof is extremely easy with this vehicle. All you gotta do is find these two sliders and you go to the left one and slide back like that. Amazing thing about this is that it's so quiet. But if you want it to stop, you press it once more and you can have it stop to wherever you would like it to be. Or if you want it to go all the way back, you just wouldn't tap it. But this, like I just noticed this just now, how much more quiet this sunroof is versus some other models in our lineup, or even versus the previous model. Not to say that they're loud, but that this is so much more like, I would say like luxurious feeling. And obviously you're gonna have the bug net as well at the top, just prevent anything from coming in. Anyways, another crazy distinctive thing about this vehicle is that the shifter is actually on the wheel column, right? And how you use it is you twist it either forward or back towards you to get to the right, driving mode. So now we're in neutral. If you shift it again forward, you get in drive. If you shift it again one more time, now you're in sport. And you can also see it on the digital cockpit too. If you drive it back to reverse, you can also see that we have the reverse camera, which is standard nowadays, right? But you also have the option to use the fish lens or fisheye lens. So performance on the new Tiguan is actually a lot better. So if we look at this older Tiguan, which I'll zoom in on right here, of the previous model of 22 and up, this vehicle is a lot lighter. It's lighter by 170 pounds, like I mentioned earlier, but it also has 17 more horsepower. So it goes from 184 horsepower in the previous model to 201 horsepower with also 221 pound-feet of torque, while also being still a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that's extremely reliable and is also giving you 25 miles combined of mile per gallon, 22 in the city and 30 on the highway, right? Not only that, is that, like I said, this vehicle is 170 pounds lighter, meaning that it's a lot zippier. And also, like I mentioned, this vehicle also feels a lot more solid to drive versus previous models. And on top of that, this vehicle has 4-wheel independent suspension. So there's a lot that comes with this vehicle that's really, really nice and that really contributes to the driving feel about this vehicle that just makes it honestly a luxury vehicle at this point. And so you might be thinking, Ian, okay, this is Volkswagen. This might not be able to compete with, say, the practicality of a RAV4 or a CR-V and whatnot. Mind you, this car is for the driving experience. I already showed you, it still has quite nice mile per gallon, right? But if we go to price, right, this is total MSRP, right? This is after the additions that they put on. $39,081. That's an amazing price for all of this vehicle. You saw the interior, you saw the exterior. Do I need to say more about it? I mean, we can also look at some of the safeties about this vehicle in terms of the build quality, right? You can see that there's a whole bunch of room between this driver's seat and this B-pillar right here to where I can actually put my entire shoulder between that. And that's on all of the seats, right? You can see there's that much room between all of the seats to the point where they were able to make a storage area right here. Let me know when you see a Honda or a Toyota or any other vehicle in the segment that's not related to VW in some type of way that has that level of safety, right? Maybe Volvo might, but outside of Volvo, I'm pretty sure they don't have that level. Nor do they have single seam welding along the entirety of the vehicle. If you look right here, you see it's not plastic. On a lot of those vehicles, they have plastic right there because their vehicle framing is not single seam welded. Essentially what that means is that in the case of an accident, the survival space where the passengers and drivers sit is much more strong and doesn't crumple up. But it also means that after 50,000 miles or 100,000 miles, the stuff on the metal is not shaking and rattling all over the place because it's fragile. If you really think about it, if you take a stick, you break it in half, and you take a stick and break it into 4 different pieces, which stick is stronger at the end of the day? The one that's only been broken once, and that's in 2 pieces. That's the stronger stick out of the 2 of them. And so let me just say, this car is the stick that's only had 1 break versus all these other cars have, 4 breaks, if not way more, right? Like, mind you, there's a lot of things I could say that come with this vehicle that are pretty common, like, obviously the rear view camera, whatever, or you can say the adaptive cruise control and all of those type of things. But those are more like convenience features that come quite common, right? The thing I love about this vehicle is all the shortcuts that VW didn't take. When it comes to the clear coat, it's a bit hard to see, but when you have this in the showroom, you can really see the orange peel on this paint, because instead of spraying it with the clear coat like other companies do, Volkswagen really dipped all of the panels that have paint on them in clear coat, so they're extra thick. And Volkswagen has a 7-year 100,000-mile warranty against corrosion, but this vehicle is not rusting out either way. Or you can even look at the wheel well right here. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but you can see how it's felt instead of hard plastic. Essentially what that means is that when you're driving on the highway, when sticks and stones get thrown up behind the wheel well, you're not hearing all that road noise. You're having the most quiet, enjoyable, calming ride. You're not getting stressed out about stuff because you're having the most calm ride ever, And there's just so many different things outside of what I've already mentioned with this vehicle where, like I said, they didn't take shortcuts to where I really enjoy this vehicle, right? You can really see, like, for example, the front 2 seats, they didn't have to make the back seats look like this, but they did it anyway. They didn't have to, put the 2 USBs right there. I mean, honestly, a lot of car manufacturers do that, so I'm not even going to say that. But they don't have to make the doors look like this on the passenger doors. Like, I'm sure they assume that a lot of children are going to be in these back seats, but even then, they still went along and made these really nice feeling doors. One more time, let me go and show you the price of this vehicle. $39,000, and I'll call it $39,000 flat. For $39,000, you can get this amazing vehicle, the luxury machine, luxury on a budget, if anything. And I mean, that's what Volkswagen is all about, bringing high quality vehicles to customers without making them empty the entirety of their pockets. They already have all the technology of luxury and performance engineered by Audi, Bentley, Lamborghini, and all those companies they already own. So they don't need to spend or push that extra cost of the improved materials or the improved engineering onto the customers. They can just give it to us, right? And you really see an amazing example of that here. So that being said, let me do a little outro. You guys learned a lot about this vehicle, and I just want to let you guys know that we have this vehicle for sale. My contact information is going to be right here with my phone number and my email, which you can call or text me or email me if you want more information about this vehicle. I'm also going to have some information in the description below about the listing online. So contact me when you can. Also, like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear back from you guys. All right, have a nice one. Bye.